Howdy folks, this is Trader Big T with your trading lesson of today, where we will be discussing live calls made in the Tim Alerts chat room. We should call today's show Fear the Reaper, since our chat room moderator made some really nice calls, particularly some momentum calls today in the chat room. I think WPCS was one of them, real burst of momentum. Right here, midday, and this was just an excellent little scalping long that you could have taken, and this one I really liked. This one really panned out. A Reaper alerted somewhere in here where you actually had some time and you made some little coin here, at least on a scalp here. This is really strong, powerful volume that SQNM hit. And Nanix was one late in the day that I think he alerted somewhere around here. It's a little bit upside left go in the day. Not quite sure how he saw that one. This one was a little bit different of a kind of a play. Okay, and VIFL, VIFL, and this one has an amazingly similar chart to another big play that occurred today, which everybody was talking about. If you actually look at the chart, you can see this huge run up early, and then kind of it faded and faded, and then there was like a little bit of a gasp to try to do something. Not a lot of volume on it though, and then kind of fade into the end. And that was also a Reaper alert. And VSTNQ, Reaper noted this. I kind of noted this a little bit, but I don't think I made much of a call on this in the chat room. Okay, TLB. This was one play that I managed to note in going. I was a little bit late to the draw on it, but it did pull back. This was in the watchers list. This is the Talbots. I think this is a New York Stock Exchange stock, and then just consolidated for hours and hours and hours. And that's why I'm kind of amazed that I missed a perfect call on this, because this is a lot more close to something I'm really familiar with. And then, once, it broke through this earlier high, like this 10 a.m.-ish high, wham, it just gets this volume over here late in the day. And once it did that, you had it off to the races, and you kind of had a little breakout in that. So that would have been something you could have banked on. That was called a little bit late, but not enough late so that you couldn't have gotten something out of it, at least, even if you closed at the end of the day. KID, this was our, just kind of gradual up. This is from the watch list, just like an all-day hold. That stock has been pretty strong in the last couple days, and that worked out. And FANAR, when you look at a lot of these stocks, it's amazing how when something is just up ridiculously, that it does tend to come back to earth in the next couple of days, and just timing it can be a little bit of an issue. FANAR actually ended up fading most of the day. Okay, Serve. Justice got served. That stock was another one that was up really big. We should actually pull up a chart on these things. Why don't you, Big T? Serve and FANAR. We need to bring up charts on both of those. Okay, here we are. So you got all this volume and this boom, 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 this long, stick. Long that's the high there. It actually closed with showing that the momentum was fading on Serve the other day, because it actually faded, and then it had the second day and down over 12%. Let's look at a 2-day chart of this. A 2-day chart. You can see, wham, this enormous move upwards, and then this fade late in the day. It's just like a study in contrast. But then the party continued. If you got in here, it doesn't look like much. It doesn't look particularly exciting, but it pays the light bills, I can tell you that. Okay, and let us pull back to FANAR. No, we don't want that. We want that. We want FANAR. There we are. Okay, FANAR, if we look at a 2-day chart, huge, giant run up, and then like this fade into the close, and then when we got to today, it had a little bit of rise, but then it eventually, came back to earth. Okay, whoa, not handling these charts well, am I? What about ABIO? That eventually faded. I'm not sure quite how that play shaked out. That was a good play a few days ago, and a little bit of discussion on it today. It was mostly quiet. This was the big play of today. This ENCO that just like went way up here, and then immediately faded, kind of similar to that other chart. I think it was FIFO. And then it tried to make this rally here, but they failed. And then Timothy Sykes went short somewhere in here and didn't have a perfect entry, but you know, it worked out, and he could actually cover before the end of the day. He actually got enough out of it to actually safely cover. I think he was afraid of a spike or something in the morning. He figured, you know, I have enough. So he just booked in the gains. And that was just excellent, because this was kind of a, you know, a judgment call where you had to see and react to this live price action, and you had to make the determination that this was going to see more downside once these late arriving fools failed to, you know, really retake that high. And then when it started weakening, he just entered there. So just an excellent call by Tim. Okay, ESPH. This was on the watcher list, and a whole bunch of people were long this. Some famous websites really featured this stock and were really proud of it. And it's already been above its 52s actually now for a couple of days. And it was fine most of the day, but then, man, when it tanked, it just tanked. And I think this was in the watcher list, in Tim's watcher list, and it just, oh, it was beautiful. It would have made a nice short for you if you had started shorting on when it started to collapse, and you could get shares. Okay, ISCO. This was also a similar kind of thing right at the beginning of the market session. You know, you would have had some slippage, but ISCO kind of panned out. This had been going up all those days, and it made, I think, a couple of watcher lists for possible shorts, and I think Tim's. And you had that just immediate drop with a couple of sticks. And then it was just kind of blah the rest of the day, but you got something out of it. Okay, we'll see you next time in the trenches as you learn to trade with Big T.